think this is the one I need to open. I got the wrong Unity project open. Is my mic on? Okay, yeah, it is. It's as loud as it goes, too, so. Oh, that's interesting. I think I can hear myself in my ears if I click this button. Can I? Oh, sorry. That was weird. Okay, I should mute this one first. Okay. What? It's still echoing. Now? Is it echoing? Oh no, it's just echoing to me. Oh, that's so funny. I just messed up all my sound settings. Curiosity. Okay, so I'm gonna switch this to this. I think this is what I should be. Is this what I'm working on right now? Okay, we'll find out. Just rearrange that and open one of these scripts. And then come over here. Make sure you guys can see that by changing it. There. I'm gonna resize it. Oh, I want to close this other one. I'm getting myself so confused. Alright, that looks pretty good. And then I'm gonna minimize it. It looks like that. Oop. And then, yeah, that's good. Go with that. Put this a little, I'm gonna make my computer a little louder because on my replay I couldn't hear the instructions and it would be nice. Okay. Lesson 2 or 3.2.
Being a programmer is a lot like being a magician. Since you control exactly what the user sees, you can do things behind the scenes to create amazing illusions. And that's exactly what we're going to do to make it look like the character is running through an endless world. What will actually happen behind the scenes in scene view is that the background object will move left, then reset, then move to the left again, and then reset. Endlessly, seamlessly, magically. By the end of this lesson, the background will scroll endlessly, but as soon as a player hits an obstacle, everything will stop. If you take a look at one of the backgrounds, you'll notice that it's actually two of the exact same image repeated twice. So what we'll do is get the width of one of those repeating sections, and as soon as the background has moved that distance, we'll reset it to its starting position. And the player will be none the wiser. As soon as we figure out how to get the background to repeat, we have to figure out how to make it stop when the player hits an obstacle. Here's the tricky part. The code that detects when the player hits an obstacle is in the player controller's script, and the code that controls the background is in the repeat background script. Somehow, the repeat background script needs to know when something happens in the player controller script. That way, when the player controller script detects when the player has run into the obstacle, the repeat background script can stop. We'll have to figure out how to make these two scripts talk to each other, how to communicate. We'll have to learn the ancient art of script communication. And to make all that happen, I'll see you in Unity.
Okay, cool. So we have our little character here happily jumping along through the forest, and occasionally that obstacle comes through. But we do have a larger problem where, because we're making it look like the character's running through the woods, in fact, it's our background that's running away from our character. So we need to figure out a way that we can actually fix that. And I have a little bit of an idea. So one thing that I could do is actually, if I select our background and I Control D to duplicate, I can create another background, and then I can just keep creating these backgrounds over and over again, and then it'll just look like the player's running through. However, that's probably one of the worst ways that I could actually solve this problem, because then I'll just have maybe like 50 or 100 of these backgrounds that are just constantly moving all across the player, and eventually they do run out, so I can't actually make that infinite, and it'll actually create some big problems for making sure that our game plays well as it's trying to render all of these different scenes that are moving through the scene. So, another option is if we delete this background, because I don't think that solution is a very good idea at all. Another way that we can think about this problem is we actually have this background here, and if you look at the halfway point, just about there, you can see that the background actually repeats itself. So it's got the same trees, and it's got the same rocks at the end. So we already have our own little repeating background, and actually we can think of the problem in this way, where if you take a look at the player screen, as we move the background over, just about at this point here, it looks like the background is exactly the same. And so what we can do is precisely at this point, we can actually just reset our background, and it will look like the player is constantly running through an endless background, when in fact it's just these two images next to each other, and we're just constantly putting it overlapping each other every single time we want it to look like the player's running. So we're going to try and do it that way instead. We're going to need a script in order to do so. So we're going to right-click on our scripts folder, create a new script, and we'll call this repeat background in order to repeat our background. And now with this script, we're going to drag it and drop it onto our background object. And then we're going to make sure that it's applied. So now you're going to go into your scripts folder, make a repeat background script, and then you're going to apply that script onto the background. Now it's your turn. Cool, so we've taken our first steps in fixing this problem that we created for ourselves by making this background move to the left until it disappears. So we have our repeat background script, so we're going to go into that script by double-clicking. Now, in our repeat background script, we're going to create a variable for ourselves to make things a bit easier. So this will be a private variable, so we can just change it in our code if we need to later. It'll be a vector3 because we actually want the position. And in this case, we're actually going to be getting the position that our object starts at. Now, this will be very helpful so that we know where we should reset our background when it reaches the point that we need to put it back and make it look like it's repeating. Now what we're going to do is actually in our start method, we're going to set our start position, and we're actually just going to get all of the coordinates of our transform position. And now we need to check to make sure that whenever we get to a certain position, we can reset our background to go back to our start position. So we're going to use an if statement to do that check. Now we're going to want to find the current position of our background. So we're going to use our transform position. And since our background is only moving on the x-axis, that's the only position we actually need to check against. Now we want to see whenever our current position becomes less than our starting position, but specifically we want to make sure that our background is farther down the line on our x-axis before we reset the position of our background to be the starting position again. So we'll just use an offset for now, and we're just going to use like 40, I think. We'll see how that works. And then if we create a new line, and then we use the curly braces, in our if statement, we're going to set our transform position that it's currently at, and we're just going to reset it back to the position of our variable. Now in Unity, we'll see how this works and how this looks. So whenever our current position hits a certain point past the start position, it'll reset itself. So that looks kind of okay. It looks a little weird. It kind of looks like the background is stuttering in some ways. Let's see if we can fiddle with that number just a little bit more. Maybe we'll set it to like 50 so it's farther down the line. So we'll change the variable to 50. And we'll save that, and then we'll see how that looks. So now, hopefully our background can go a little bit farther down before it resets itself. And it looks a little bit better. It's getting almost there, but I think that's good enough for now. So what we'll do is, in your repeat background script, you're going to create your own variable for a coordinate. So you're going to use a vector 3, and that coordinate's going to be your start position of your object. In the start method, we're going to set the start position equal to the transform position, the current position of our object, just so that we always know exactly where our object started at when it was in the scene. And then we're going to check in our update function to see when our current position is less than our start position and a little offset. Then we'll reset the entire position of our object back to our start position. Now it's your turn.
Okay. Private vector 3. And then start position as right equals no. It's form position, and that's that. And then if transform position x is less than start position x, change it by 50, It's like I'm trying to just look at this bottom part. I don't know if you can see me highlighting it right now, but yeah. See this? Does it? Yeah. Trying just to look at this, but I just had to check, make sure I was doing this right. I heard the bell. Hold on. Okay. Transform position. Position equals start position. No. I was about to press enter like it's control save. Control S. Okay. So minimize this, click here, let it load, and then I'm gonna play it and see what happens. Oh, it's going by. Does it keep going forevermore? Well, kind of saw that transition. It's gonna happen like right there. Yep. Let's like play almost. I'm actually trying to jump on one again. How is this so entertaining? Okay, I gotta stop. I don't know. I don't know if I mean that, if that's like to be expected at this point, or if that means, what, try this, change with this one, just mess with it, see what happens. Almost. This didn't really change. Actually, I think it's more noticeable. Is it more noticeable? Yeah, totally. Okay, let's try 60. Oops, that's not my code. Minimize that, minimize this. There we go. Okay, minimize. Let's see what that's like. Ha ha ha. Ah. Well, that's good. Oh, I think that's better. That's better. Let's see. Make it like 55 probably. I mean, that's pretty good. All right. Last one. This I'll accept. Minimize. Keep reminding myself. Yep, I'm gonna stick with that one. I'm not changing it back to 60. I think that works. Okay. So, stop the game. Go back to the video. Next.
All right, so we've made it so that our background repeats every time it goes back through, but it does look a little bit weird. It's not exactly perfect. You can definitely tell that something's wrong here, but at least our player jumps and they're still happy, so that's good. So in order to make our background transition seamlessly back and forth, we're going to use some new variables to be able to do so. But first what we want to do is we're actually going to use one of our box colliders to help us with this problem. So on our background, we're going to add a component, and then we're going to look for a box collider. And now you see that our box collider wraps entirely around our background, which is perfect, because once again, that means that there's less that I have to do myself to wrap that box collider. And you can see on our box collider in our inspector, it actually has a size. And that is extremely helpful because now we no longer need to guess what the halfway point is of our background. So now in our repeat background script, we're going to use another variable, and this one will be private since we know exactly what we need now. And it'll be a float since you saw the size had some decimals in there. And we're just going to call it the repeat width. And so this will be the width that we actually repeat at when we want to reset our position. In our start method, we're actually going to set our repeat width. So we'll use repeat width. And we're going to set this to the size of our box collider. Now, because our box collider is a component, we're actually going to need that getComponent method again. So we're going to getComponent. And now we need that left and right caret so that we can get the type of component we're looking for. So in this case, we're looking for a box collider. And then we're going to use our parentheses since this is a method. So now we're getting the box collider on our object. And what we want to do is we can actually get the size property of that component. So if we type in size, and then we get the actual X size, so then we can get the total width of our background. And we're just looking for that exact halfway point. So we'll divide using one right forward slash by 2. And that'll give us half the size, half the width of our background. And then last but not least, the only thing we need to do is get rid of this hard-coded number right here. And this will be our repeat width.
That's funny.
So now when we save, now that we're back in Unity, you can watch as our happy little player runs through the scene. And it looks like even though you can see the scene moving back and forth, in order to make it look like it's repeating, in the player's view, it looks exactly perfect. So, now it's your turn. So, what you're going to do is you're going to apply a box collider on your background, and then in our repeat background script, you're going to create another variable, a private float called repeat width. You're going to get your component of your box collider in the start method, and you're going to get its specific size and only on the x-axis. And then you're going to divide by 2, so that way you can get the exact halfway point of our background. And then you're going to change your hard-coded number to be repeat width.
I know I'm being quiet today. I stayed up really late last night. I'm sleepy. Size. Two. And this now is repeating. No, just repeat with. Keep want to add ing to stuff. All right. Save. Save. What's wrong? Why is it red? What did I do wrong here? Something's wrong. There's not a dot here. Are you happy now? No more yelling at me? I think the one of the Visual Studios, the VS, his voice screaming, always telling me errors. All right. Let's see. What does it look like? It's gonna be perfect now. I didn't see anything change. Oh, so close. I want to make these things spawn just a smidge closer so I can get on one and then just hop to the next. It's like just shy, just shy. Okay, side quest. Where is that player? See, I guess I could just increase their jump force maybe a little bit. Then make them go just a little further. Would probably be the quickest and easiest way. Let's do that one for fun. Okay. Let's just do one. Just one more bit of force. Just that's tiny bit. Okay. Okay, that one is just the one that was there. So, okay, get on top of it. Nope. Oh no, now it's too much force to land. Ah. I can't stick the landing. Okay. It's like impossible. No. Oh, there we go. There we go. Oh, so close. And almost. Almost. Okay. So that's enough of that. I'll come back to that. So I got the background repeating good. So moving on. Add a new game over trigger. Okay.
So our game's looking really good now. So we have the background that scrolls endlessly. We have our happy player who jumps through the forest as they're avoiding all these obstacles. And now what we want to do is we want to actually make it so that we can end our game and send it to a game over screen. So what we're going to do is we need to figure out how we can actually label all of these different objects so that whenever our player collides with them, we know what we've hit. One really cool way of doing this is by using something called tags. So if you look at the top right of our inspector, we have our ground selected, and there's this little button called tag. And what we can actually do is create different tags for different things. So we could actually go and tag our player as player, tag our main camera as our main camera. We can tag locations, different things like that. So we'll actually create our own tag by clicking Add Tag under that dropdown. And you'll see that there's a tag here that says List is empty. So this is our list of tags that we can use that we created. We haven't made any yet, so we'll actually go to this little plus sign on the bottom right of this bar. And we'll click that and we'll add our own tag. So we'll call this one ground. And then we can press enter to save. And now when we go back to our ground, oh, that's weird. So what you actually have to do is you go to the tags in your inspector, you click the drop down, and it brings up all the different tags, and then you select the tag that you want to use. So it doesn't, unfortunately, automatically tag something when you create the tag. So you just have to make sure you go back into whatever you want to tag and apply the appropriate one. We're going to do the same thing to our obstacles, but in this case, since we have prefabs, we need to double click on our obstacles or click on the obstacle and click on the open button. And then you can see we have another tag here. So we'll go to click it and it's untagged right now. So we'll add a tag. And we already have our ground tag, but we want a new tag. So we'll create another one and we'll call this one obstacle. Now, if we go back to our hierarchy that shows us our prefab preview, you can see the obstacle here. So if we click that, and then under tags, just make sure that you go and tag it obstacle. And then when we leave our prefab editor, by using the arrow next to the obstacle underneath our hierarchy, now whenever we create obstacles, it'll have this tag applied to it that says obstacle. So now we need an actual way to interact with these obstacles. So we're actually just going to use our player controller script. And then in our player controller script, you can see that we actually already have a way to detect collisions. In this case, we're detecting a collision on the ground. So in our player controller class, this is actually where we'll just store the state of our game over. So we'll just make a public Boolean for now. So that way we can see when our Boolean is true or false. And we'll name this game over. So now we have our game over state saved. And we're actually going down and you can see that we conveniently already have a way to track collisions against other things using our onCollisionEnter method. So this is actually the place where we can compare the different tags whenever we run into those objects specifically. So we'll start actually with the ground since we already have this variable here. So if, and then our condition, we're going to use collision because in this case, the collision is actually the object that we're colliding with. And then we're going to call that collision's game object. And on that game object, we can compare the current tag that it has. And we can actually use a string for that tag. So we named our ground ground. Now, in our statement, we can specifically check when we collide with a certain game object. We can check that game object's tag and see if it's ground. So now we'll take our isOnGround variable, and this is where we set it to true. And now, after we've compared for the collision of the ground, we can actually compare for the collision of our obstacle. So we'll actually use an else statement. So else, if what we're colliding with is an obstacle, then we'll do this thing. So we'll check first if we're colliding with the ground. Otherwise, if what we're colliding with is an obstacle, we'll do this. So we can use a debug.log statement so that we can see in the editor in Unity when our game is over. And then we have that handy game over Boolean at the top. So since its default value is false, now we set game over to true. So when we go back into Unity, when we play our game, you should see on the bottom left that game over pops up and tells us that we ran into an obstacle. So we'll just wait for one of these fun obstacles, and there's one. Ooh, missed it. My farmer's just so excited. And then we'll hit this one, and boom, you can see there's a game over at the bottom. So now what you're going to do is you're going to make sure on your ground that you add a ground tag by using the drop down, adding a tag, and then in this list creating a new tag. And then what you're going to do is you're going to go into your obstacle prefab, and then you're going to apply a tag to this as well called obstacle, and then just make sure that you apply the tag before you leave the prefab editor. And then in your player controller script, you're going to create a game over variable so that we know when the game is over or when it is not. And then we're going to change some of our code in our onCollisionEnter method so that we have an if statement to see if the object that we collide with is tagged as ground. Then we can set isOnGround to true. Otherwise, if the object we collide with is an obstacle, then we set our game over to true, and we tell our editor in Unity that the game is now over. Now it's your turn.
Okay. So, public bool game over. All right, now down here, get rid of this. On collision, game, object. Did I misspell that? I did, didn't I? Why do I keep misspelling object? I put a D instead of a B, and it needs to be capitalized. Okay. Does it need a... I guess it doesn't. Okay. Or does it? Let's see. Okay. I thought maybe it needed a semicolon, but it does not. Right. I forget which lines. I think I got confused and halfway through started writing the wrong line. Or do they say the same thing? So, collision, game object, compare tag. Collision, game object, compare tag. Yeah, they say the same thing. That's why. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, sure. Make this easier for myself. Alright. So. Is that supposed to get written there, or is that being crossed out? So Oh. Oh, now it's there. Okay. I was wondering when it was like deleted. Okay. Then here? Game object. Haha. This is where I was trying to make it easy for myself, but whatever. Compare. Tag. Obstacle. And then another set of these. Debug. No. Oops. There we go. Yes. Right. Equals true. So now, let's see if it tells me game over when I hit one of them. Saved it. That was weird. It says game over. That's good. Wait, does pressing console start play mode or something? Or did I click it and not pay attention? Didn't minimize the code. Sorry. Alright. Game over. Yay. Or not yay. Alright. Next. Halfway.
Cool, so we have our character in the scene, and whenever we run into one of the obstacles, right now he's so happy we just missed one, and we hit one of them, and you can see game over pops up at the bottom. Now, we actually want to be able to do things when we end our game. So one of the things that we'll do is we'll make it so that the background stops scrolling, and the obstacles stop when the game is over. To do that, we'll actually need to do some communications between our scripts to be able to know when to stop the game. Now, in our move left script, how exactly are we going to know what's happening in our player controller script? Well, for now we'll create a variable so that we can hold a reference to our script. So, specifically because our player controller script is a class called player controller, we actually just call player controller. Now this is very similar to how you would just call game objects, but in this case we're just calling a player controller. And we'll name this player controller script, and although not very creative, is very descriptive, which is incredibly helpful. Now in our start method, this is actually how we're going to connect our reference to our script to the actual player controller script in our game. So we're going to use our player controller script, and we're going to set this to the player controller script on our player. So we can actually use the game object class, and in our game, we're going to find
I am so sleepy.
the name of our object, which in this case in our game is called player. So this will find player in the scene hierarchy. And now that we've found our player, we can actually get their component. And we're looking for specifically their player controller object, which we put inside the left and right carets. And then since this is a method, we make sure that we put our parentheses. So now this is how we can set our player controller script to be the actual player controller script in our game by using the player in our scene. And now in our update method, we can actually stop things from moving whenever we collide with that player and the game over condition happens. So if player controller script, since we now have that reference, and we want to check whenever the game is over. However, in this case, we're looking to move things when the game is not over. So if game over is equal to false, we use those two equal signs to say that it's equal to instead of setting game over to false. And then we use our curly brackets and then press enter, and we can actually just cut this entire translate method and put it inside this if statement. One very important thing to note is that you can see that we can very easily get our game over variable from our player controller script. Now, if this was a private variable, in fact, we wouldn't be able to see this at all. Now, if game over were a private variable, we wouldn't be able to see this at all. Just like public variables can be seen in the Unity editor and private variables cannot, public variables can be seen in other classes while private variables cannot. So if I were to get a move left script somewhere and I wanted to get the speed variable, I would have no way of doing that. If I made the game over variable private inside of our player controller script, I would have no way of seeing this variable and being able to know if it was true or false. So now, if our game over is false, if our game is not over, then we're just going to keep moving things to the left. So if we save in Unity, now this time, when we play the game and our player runs into one of the obstacles, everything stops. And we're still jumping for joy, so excited. And you can see all of these obstacles just spawning on each other, and there's not enough space. Now what you're going to do is in your move left script, you're going to get a reference of our player controller script on our player by creating your own player controller variable. In our start method, you're going to set that variable to the player controller object or component on our player game object in our scene. And then, whenever the game is not over, we're going to make sure that all of our obstacles and our background keeps moving until our game over happens. Now it's your turn.
Okay, my turn. I'm not gonna lie, I was zoning out during that one. That one was, yeah. Almost wondering if I should, like, watch it again. But I'm not. I can't. I cannot watch that again. I do want to pause here, though.
Until
Pause. Wait. Okay, go ahead.
our game over happens. Now it's your
Okay. Make sure I didn't pause it before a change was made. Okay. So I got the speed. Player controller player wonder if spelling matters for this. Does that have to be spelled like my script? Find out if there's typos. Now, here, game object, find, oops, wrong one, player, because that's the tag, and is there a space there? I don't think there's a space. Is there a space or not? Is it just dot? Or is it space dot? Get component. Potential spam. No thanks. I love how it says potential. Like, you know, you could answer this one if you want. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. We don't know. Okay. Player. Nope, just player controller. Why? Okay. Yeah. That looks... Oops. Okay. And then down here becomes oh yeah. If player controller script, I do want it this time, dot game over equals false. Now these thingies and paste. Wahaha. Okay. Save. I'll test it. Let's see. Everything's supposed to. Nope. Nope. I did something wrong. What did I do? Right there? It's not capitalized. Okay. Grammar police. Don't cap here. Do cap here. So picky. I'm forgetting to minimize. Minimize. It's still... could not be found. Let's see. Player controller. Okay, let's just compare very closely now. Okay. So, player controller script. Now, let me check my spelling. Just double check. That's perplexing. Let me see this. Okay. What does it say? The type or namespace name player controller script could not be found. Are you missing a using directive or an assembly reference? It's asking me. I don't know. I can't even, yeah, I can't even try to play it as it is. This is crazy. I don't see what I mess up. I know I did. Okay. Ha. This shouldn't say script. It should just say player controller. Ah, that makes sense. Now I hope it works, because if it doesn't, I'm really confused. Yes. All right. Now, C. I should be able to hit the first one. Oh no, it stopped. Okay, cool. So it's got all the same stuff as the prefabs. Okay, cool. Next.
Cool. So we have all the right steps to make our game end. So when we hit one of the obstacles coming into the scene, everything stops. However, you can see this problem where we just have this infinite number of obstacles being created non-stop. Let's see how many we can pile on. I don't actually want to see that. So what we're going to do is we're going to fix that small problem just because we don't want to keep creating all these obstacles in the scene. We just want it to stop entirely. So that way our game doesn't just slow down to a standstill because there's 1,000 of these little obstacles all the way over here that you can't see. So we're going to go to our spawn manager script, and using the same thing that we just did in our move left script, we're just going to get another reference to our player controller script. So if we make another private player controller, and we'll call this player controller script. Now in our start method, we're going to attach our variable to the reference of our player controller script in the scene. So we player controller script, we're going to set that to a game object that we're going to find in our scene, which happens to be called player. And then in player, we're going to find the component, which is our player controller. Now, in order to stop spawning our obstacles, now that we have a reference to our player, we're actually going to check for when the game's over inside of our spawn obstacle method. So if we use an if statement, if our player controller script game over boolean is false, then we can just cut this little bit out and paste it in our if statement. So now when our game over is false, it'll keep creating all of these objects. However, when our game is over, then it stops creating these objects. Now, if we save that and we double check in Unity, you can see that our player hits our obstacle and none of the obstacles are magically spawning, which is great. So now it's your turn. In your spawn manager script, you're going to create another player controller variable. In the start method, you're going to set the player controller script variable to the player controller script of our player object in our scene. And then to stop spawning any of these obstacles, in our spawn obstacle method, we're actually going to check when the game is not over to keep creating these obstacles. Otherwise, when the game is over, it'll skip over this line of code and it won't create any more obstacles. Now it's your turn.
Alright. My turn. I'm chugging through this. I am hopefully retaining some of it. So, going to go into the spawn manager, get a reference to the player controller script. So, spawn manager. Okay. It's had like the hugest yawn. Alright. Here we go. They're going to talk about this privately. Right, player controller. That's that. Player. Nope. There we go. I'll get this eventually. Player controller script. There it goes. And what is it trying to tell me? Alright, now in here, what's gonna change? That's gonna stay the same. Then you're just gonna add more. Right? Huh? No. Doesn't even. Oh, that's not the example, is it? Well, that's the spawn manager. Why doesn't it look like what he... Oh, okay. That's what confused me. Invoke repeating is written before player controller script equals here, but then up here, it's player controller script equals is above. So, that confused me for a second. Now, okay. So, I'm gonna write it the way they have it here in their script. Above it, player controller script equals game object. Find player. Oh, it needs a Y. And then get component. Come on. Get component. Player controller. This one's scam likely. Not potential, it's just likely. Okay. Now for this, they actually have that one the same. So that stays the same. It just, what? Oh, it get moved. Yes. So if player controller script game over false, instantiate, and my fingers just went crazy. Instantiate obstacles, obstacle prefab op. I knew it. I knew it. I pressed D instead of B. How is that following me? Okay. Transform dot rotation. Yay. Right? And then this, or it'll be yelling at me. Okay. It's yelling at me. Okay. What? Did I write script when I shouldn't have? Which one is this? I did, didn't I? I did. I did it. So it just says player get component. Okay. Save it. And let's see, what was the other error? Oh. What? Oh, it's not capped. That'll cause a problem too. Let's see this one. Player controller does not contain a definition for game over. Huh? Okay. What? Well, this got me stuck. So, let's read the whole thing. Player controller does not contain a definition for game over in no accessible extension method. Game over. Accepting the first argument of type player controller could be found. Are you missing a using directive or an assembly reference? Wait a second. Does that mean like I didn't put the little bracket thingy somewhere? It's like, I'm just looking to see if I typed something wrong on that. I'm not seeing it. It's the space. It's the space. I knew it was something. And it was like assembly reference. Every time it's assembly reference, I forgot to either put the little bracket or I didn't space or I did space. Please. Please be it. No, that wasn't it. Wait, I didn't save it. Does that matter? Oh, it still didn't go away. It's like it doesn't want the dot. What is it supposed to do? Invert if wrap expression. I don't even know what that's supposed to be. Okay, time to ask Google. So just screen capture this real quick. Wait. Oh. Trying to grab the wrong thing. Okay. Almost 1 o'clock. All right. I gotta get this done. Okay. Screen capture that real quick. And be like, open this. Where is it? There it is. Just be like, help me with this error. And it'll see what I've done wrong and tell me. All right. I knew it was line 29. What is wrong? Okay. Check for type over. Is there an R? Did I do gamer over? Ah, I can't believe I couldn't see that. So you need a second set eyes sometimes. Thank you, Google. Thank you. I'm just staring and staring like, what's wrong here? There's an R that shouldn't be there. Okay. Is it happy now? It's happy! Yay! I forget what this was even supposed to make happen. Okay, so now when the game's over, it shouldn't keep spawning obstacles, right? I can't see the obstacles right now, so I'll just, well, it's not spawning them, so hey, that worked. Let's stop. I'm gonna try to play this. It should give me the right view, and I'm gonna try to jump it and stay in the game just a little while to make sure. Oh shoot. Okay. Let me just delete this. I was supposed to have already. Okay. I want to make sure it's still actually spawning at all. Okay, yeah, there's something. And like it's very sped up. Oh yeah, I remember it did imply that change. I don't think I forgot to like test it. Oh, it's crazily fun. Okay, that's good. Now hit one and it stopped. I'm gonna check over here. It's not still making them. Yay. All right, that's what I just did. Moving forward. Destroy obstacles that exit bounds. I'm gonna try to do this along with it.
So we're
I'm running
almost
out of
there with
time.
the mechanics of our project, but we do have one last small problem to deal with, which is whenever we jump over one of our obstacles, you can see that they just fly off into the distance forever, and so we actually need to get rid of them because otherwise they'll just keep creating obstacles, and then it might slow our game down. To do that, we're going to go into our move left script, and now in our move left script is a good place where we can keep track of our obstacle and then remove it from the screen whenever it goes off the player's view. So in our update method, we're going to use another if statement, and we're going to get our current object's transform, position, x. So that way we can see when the position goes past the edge of what we can see. And for now, we're just going to set it to something like -10, and we'll just see, and if that works, then we can turn it into a variable. And then we'll write the thing that we want it to do when this happens. So, when our object goes past -10, we're going to destroy our game object. Perfect. Now, let's see how this works. So now, if we watch our obstacles in our scene, we should see them get removed whenever they go past the end. Uh-oh, I broke something. On the upside, the obstacles delete at just about the right place. Maybe we'll set it to like -15. Let's see, what did we do wrong? I see. So we didn't use that tag system that we had set up, and so it's just deleting anything that goes past this point that's using the move left script. So since our background is using move left, since the background went past -10, it deleted itself. Not that big of a problem, so we'll just make sure we take the current game object, and we'll just get the tag that's on it, and we'll make sure that it's an obstacle. And then we have this -10, so we're just going to make this the left bound, since this is the left boundary of what we're hitting. And then our computer's mad at us because this doesn't actually exist yet, so we'll make this variable. Since we already know the number that we want to set it to, so we'll make it a private float left bound. And we'll just set this to -15. And so now when we save, and then we go back into Unity, when we play, hopefully our background doesn't delete itself. Cool, so our background's still going, and we have the obstacles delete themselves. So, perfect. Now we have all of the mechanics that we need. So now what you're going to do is, in your move left script, you're going to create your own variable for the left boundary. And we're going to go into our update method and create a new if statement. So we're going to compare our game object's current position to see when it goes past the left boundary on the left side.
All right.
And make sure that it's an obstacle instead of just deleting our background as well. So when it's both past the left side of our screen and the thing that's moving is an obstacle,
So it's
then
red.
we'll destroy
Why
that
is it
game
red?
object. Now it's your turn.
What?
Now it's
Okay. Tell me what I did wrong. Whoa. Okay. I put this in the wrong place. It needs to be in here. I do this often. Okay. And what else did I do wrong? I'm sure there's more. All right. Tell me, Unity. The name D-Story? Okay. There we go. Oh, I didn't save it. Happy now? Please? Yay! Okay, so I'm gonna test it, make sure it's still working nicely before I move on. I'm gonna try to like not lose for a while. I think things are being destroyed. Oh my goodness. So let's check the scene. Huh? Yeah? I don't see anything over there. So, yeah. All right. Oh, that was it. That was the last of it. I thought there was going to be 10 sections. Yay. All right. Lesson recap. New functionality. Background repeats seamlessly. Background stops when player collides with obstacles. Obstacle spawning stops when player collides with obstacle. Why do I feel like I'm repeating? Obstacles are destroyed off screen. New concepts and skills. The repeating background. Get collider width. Yeah, I never did that. Script communication. Equal to the equal operator. Yes. I did notice that one. It looks like a little smiley face. Like a little pleased with itself face. The little brackets. Right here. Let me see. Something. Ah, I don't know how to do that. Ow. Accidentally pulled my headphones cord. Okay, tags and compare tags. Yes, it's all done. Yay, 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 yay. Save, save, save. Close, close, close. Everything. Close it all. Alright, now, okay, that's saved. Just click it one more time. Just be sure. Okay, close. Now, where's my other one? I was working on. So late last night working on this. It looks different from how I left it. I'll get it showing. Yes. So, only thing I want to get done with this right now is having it so these things stop falling through. See? They're falling straight through the ground, and that just started, so I'm not very happy about that. I want to try to figure out how to fix that. So, yeah. I know when it started. It started when I did is triggered on this. So, I'm pretty sure. Please, they'll start piling up now. Okay, now they'll start piling up and they're floating. I can fix that. So now let's leave that as is. So now stop this and go, no, no, I want this. And I'm just gonna do one thing real quick. So I thought I fixed it so they weren't floating by doing like a small amount, making it, you know. Let's see if that makes them fall through the floor. See, I did a couple things before I tested, and I don't know exactly what made the problems. Okay, so they can sit on the floor. It was the is triggered. So now I'm just gonna go back and I'm gonna click the is triggered again. And then I'm gonna see if they slip through the floor. And then I have to figure out how am I gonna stop this because I need is triggered for them to be destroyed. So I'm really struggling. How? Yep. Yep. It's just, it's got me. How am I gonna get these things not to go through the floor? Does the floor need a rigid body then? Oh, let me see, let me see. See, I gave it a rigid body and then it started falling. So, oh, I have to fix it. I have to make it stay in one place. Rigid. So yeah, I'm gonna freeze it. I'm just gonna freeze all of it. Don't move. You're not. I am on it, right? I'm on the plane. Okay, good. It should not move, and it has existence with everything else. Okay. Wish me luck. This really bothered me. Whoa. I start moving right away because of that little fall. I think I gotta get more. Oh, wait. I'm turning, but I'm not turning in my direction. That's weird. Okay. Why am I stuck against the wall? And they're still falling straight through. So I guess giving it a rigid body didn't really do anything. Okay. I'm gonna stop this. So let's look at this prefab again. Why is it just going through? I mean, actually, let me check something real quick. Are they being destroyed or are they going through? I think they're just falling endlessly, right? Let's see. They falling through? Oh yeah. Yeah, they're just falling endlessly. Wow. Okay. So they're not being destroyed, so it's not the destroy that's doing it. Stop it. It's just so weird. Okay. I'm just gonna be like, Google, I have a plane. This. I see why people have the inspector to itself. It's nice to see the whole thing and see all of them. Like, what could be causing this? Wait, is this... I'd be like, okay. Totally. I'm gonna just throw this in there for reference. I have a plane in my scene, and the character isn't going through. So it's definitely the prefab object that's got the mistakes. It's not the floor. Okay, is this thing. This thing just keeps going through the floor. Why? This is the one. You are the root of all my problems. Okay. Screen capture that and then be like, why is this going through the floor? That's pretty much it. Just tell me it's gonna tell me something. Does it have a collider, a box collider, a mesh collider? If not, add component. It has a sphere collider. Does that not count? But I have that on my other one. You know what? I don't think it could hurt to add another one. Could it? You know what? Let's just give it a box collider, okay? I'm done playing around. Okay, now let's see. Let's see. They're not gonna go through the floor because of that? That'd be great. Oh, it's not going through the floor. But I am like somehow falling to the side. That wasn't happening before. So, I wonder if my floor is crooked. Actually, I'm pretty sure it is. I'm fairly certain. Okay. So everything's just falling to the side now. Why? I did say my floor was off. Well, look at it. It's such a mess. Oh, it's definitely tilted, right? How could I tell? Or fix this? Probably in here was it my great and wonderful trick to get them on the actual ground because this plane has been let me think. What could be causing that problem? Well, let's go back here. Put this back to 1 and see if it stops doing what it was doing. And then we'll know that's causing it. Whoa. Nope. Nope, doesn't matter. Let's see. So that doesn't matter. So I'm just gonna leave that. I don't think that's causing any issues at this point. I keep blaming it, but it's not. What was that? I'm in the plane. Is it because I clicked all these? I don't think that would cause it, but hey, let's find out. Um, no, I think I needed those. I just pulled the rug out from under myself. Okay. Let's fix those positions again. I'm just gonna freeze position. I don't think I gotta mess with rotation. Let's see what happens there. Oh, maybe I should do rotation too. dramatic. Like, it's like just falling apart. Okay, well, we'll make that stuck. But, maybe need to get rid of its mass. I don't know what angular dampening is. Dampening factor that affects how this body resists rotation. Huh. Should I turn off gravity? Like, I don't want to use gravity. That should help. Maybe. Okay, let's see. The ball just, like, something is just making everything go to the side. Why? What is doing this? It's definitely affecting everything. Hmm. Well, I'm curious on what's making this happen to fix it properly, but I keep thinking of just silly ways to make it maybe do what I want. And then I wonder, should I try that? Okay, so this was my brilliant next idea. I'm going to. Mm, I don't know. Okay, let me just. I did something wrong with this floor, I think. Oh, maybe I could just reset all positions? If I do that. Yeah, it's gonna do that. It's kind of worth it though. So I can see what's going on. What is all of that? That's when I was trying to edit this thingy. Okay, I'm just gonna delete this box collider. Oh, can I reset it? Okay. I'm going to reset it. Nope, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to remove this component, right? Oh, and the rigid body's messed up too, isn't it? Why does it look slanted? Okay, I'm gonna remove this, and then I'm gonna add new ones. I'm just gonna remove them. I think I messed up all of its, or is it this that I messed up? Because it's still like, I can see, why does it look like that? Don't want to mess with these. It comes with that. I almost just want to remake this whole floor. Maybe I should just delete the plane and make it again. That might be my best way to make sure there's none of my brilliant ideas holding on. So, yeah, done. There. A fresh new floor. I have not corrupted. And I'm going to give it a collider. And is that all it needs? I don't think it needs a body because it's not going to move around. So now I need to resize it without messing it up. So is that, I think I did it here to start with. Yeah. Right back to where we were. And I'm going to put that pretty picture on it because that really made it. There we go. And it's not in the right position. So I need to move it over some. Zoom out so I can see. Okay. There. Should be good. Just move around. I don't think I got it far. Oh, nope. It's definitely not where it needs to be, I don't think. Maybe I'll just make it a smidge bigger because I like it to overhang. I don't want to be falling through the gaps. Oops. Can't see if it's extending past it. Not enough. There. Definitely need to go that way some. And then I am gonna make it just a little bigger. And then problem solved. It's like too much bigger though. Okay, let's just do 5.2. There. Just enough that it's comfortably overhanging. Because I think everything was so... Okay, yeah, that's overhanging. Wait, E makes you go up? I just pressed E by accident. What makes you go back down? I'm so happy I figured that out. How many times I just wanted to fly up. I pressed space bar or something. Whatever it is. Okay, well, let's see. Come in here and check the corners. That's the easiest way, I think. Oh, wait, no. E. Ha ha ha. Yep, E. Oh, there it is. Yep. So, how do I want to fix this? What am I looking at? Who knows? If I pull it over this way, is it going to leave a gap on the other side? That's not the right direction to fix this. Oh, almost. Okay. There. There. Whoa. Whoa. What are we doing now? What just happened? What just happened? What? Can I? Whoa. Okay. What just happened with my point of view? How did I do that? Huh? What? Oh, it went to 2D. That scared me. I thought I just like broke it. Okay. Yay. Alright, now before I do any more changes, honestly, I'm going to make a save and then I'm going to test play and see if things have stopped falling through the floor. I kind of forgot that's what I was working on. I got so picky. Yes! Yes! So I had messed something up in that plane. I don't know what I had clicked, but I definitely had clicked something. Okay. Oh, wow. And I can move and I'm not like being flown around. I just don't have any power. I want to hit one of them. Make a move. Should. Okay, I destroyed it. Yay! But I know what's going on. I know what's going on. It's that box collider I put on them, I think. Or it's my box collider isn't out of the bounds of the character. So where's the player? Okay. Now there's sphere collider. Stippy is triggered. You know what? I'm just gonna give him like a box collider. You know? Because that should let them be felt. Let's see. Yeah, okay. And now you can't move at all. Why? Why is it not moving at all now? Let's see. Oh, hmm. Do I need to click is triggered for it to be able to move around? Well, maybe I'll just give him more move speed. See what that does. Oh, that works. Yeah, that works great. Okay. Come on. Yeah. I'm not... I'm... Whoa, that one was resistant. It wasn't being destroyed. Ah, come on. It's kind of ridiculous. Controlling this is not... I think I'm gonna make it so like if you left... Or no, that's the right. If you right click, you can control the way it moves. So you can just go forward and then go like this and go all over the place. I had that. It kind of even gave me motion sickness. It was moving around so weird, too much. But all right. Well, let's think. Kind of happy. So, I'm gonna make an enemy that can deal damage. And they'll be like at a random point, all the watermelons in the room are gonna change out with the enemy. So it's like, yeah, and then you have to survive like a countdown, like a timer will start. They'll switch, and then you have to survive. And then, so you can choose to, like let the room fill with watermelons and then fight as many enemies as you want. Or you can really try to make sure there's not a lot of enemies to have to fight when you have to survive your turn at being the one that gets smashed. I'm not sure what enemy I should have. I kind of had the idea to put this feature in it this morning, and I was like, yeah, it finally actually sounds like a game. It's gonna have an enemy and a way to be defeated. So, yeah. I guess in the spirit of it, I'll make an object, a 3D object, and the enemy is going to be bigger and they're not going to be um, a sphere. I'm gonna use something else. So it's like capsules are interesting. Always looks like an Among Us to me. Never really played with these things all that much. It's in the floor. It's not good. So this will just be a prefab. So it doesn't matter where it's at. It'll show up in the location of watermelons. And I want it to look kind of scary, but also like I mean like the watermelon grew. How can you affect a face on this? I'm curious. If I want to put a face in one spot, everything wraps. So I guess you could make something that work. Very weird looking. Nope, I don't want to do that one. How do I want to make the villain look? Do I want to try to attach things to it? Let's try to attach things to it. Use multiple objects. Okay. So we'll give him a hat. We'll keep this simple. Okay, yeah, I got my idea now. I know what I'm gonna do. Okay. This is gonna be my best attempt at let me get in a better viewpoint. Wait, is this the one? Hey, oh no. So okay, I have to be clicking. So this should help. All right. Very flat. Right? There we go. Yeah, you can see the little head there. That's fun. All right. Now I'm gonna use a block again. I'm gonna keep it blocky for this hat that I am making. Let's see. Cube. Are they popping off in different places? Like just so. This one? Yeah. Maybe a little smaller. Still want to keep it perfectly square. And then let's rename this real quick. I'm still torn on what the enemy is gonna be. I'm thinking, oh, you know, I think I want to get these where I want them first. Okay, so too fast. Well, I'm not gonna keep it perfectly square. Never mind. Come on, this one. Oh, what am I doing? That's just so weird. Oh, that's the far end. Okay, let's just undo that. It's a little bit bigger. His is like so not looking. It looks like Mr. Peanut. I don't like that. Doing something different. Let's make some spheres. Just put little bug eyes on it. See if I can do that. Sphere. So. What? That's weird. Okay, one eye is going to be bigger than the other. Well, actually, oh yeah, because this is round. So I'll make just a color, right? Make it white. Make it white. Actually, yeah. Hmm. I have to put something in there, don't I? What? How do I just pick a color? Come on. Is that transparent? Yeah, it was. Why is it gray? I actually want white. Huh. Is it because it's... Why is it... Why is it... It's annoying. Okay. You know what? They're gonna have red eyes. Yeah. That's it right there. Red. That's scary. I mean, that's scary. You gotta fight that? Yeah, that's scary right there. And I just need some teeth. So what should we do for the body? You know what'd be kind of freaky is if I just put like something like this on it. Maybe I'll get like a different one. Why is it not? Where is it? It's right here? No, no, this one. Huh? Oh my gosh, yes. Like it's like camouflaged. Of course, I won't use this one. But just the idea of that. Although it's kind of not scary anymore. Maybe make it the same as a watermelon. See what that feels like. So it's like, I was thinking that it would be like, I dabbled with the idea of it being the watermelons, like transforming. Like suddenly they all mutate and come after you, but I don't know. All right. I think the other one was more intimidating. I don't know why it's not clicking when I just hover here. Maybe I don't have the right choice, but I can just do this. All right. Actually, I think I have something over here. Yes. So, just looking through some pictures real quick. I'm on prompt one. All right. Just gonna try an idea and get a scary forest at night and throw it on there and see what it looks like. That's not too bad. Let's play with making another material. Let's try some color. Oh no, I'm not trying to drop it, just see. I mean, any one flat color on the body is probably not going to be that good. But since I'm here, I'll make myself a color that I'll end up using. I want to use a pretty color at some point. If I could put like just that's pretty. So it looks so everything looks so much darker. Look, it's not. This is the color. Oh, you can't see my pop-up. Right. Well, it looks so much darker. I just noticed that's not in view. I mean, I'd run if this thing walked up to me in the woods. It needs the little pupils. Whoa. All right. Now, can I change its size? I don't think I'm gonna do it with this. Can I just like, is I like got that bar thingy? Can you do the bar thingy? No. All right. Give me this. Nope. Nope. This one. Whoa. This thing's moving really fast. Okay. Now we're just gonna put that right there. Yep. And what is it? I think it should be black. So I'm just gonna change this to black and use it. I just made it to make it. So this one right here. Yep, there we go. Oh, I got a beady little eye. Look at that. Okay. So, oh, I guess I want them the same size. So I'll just copy the size and stuff from here. Right? It's perfectly round, so I can just copy that to all of them. Is this the one? What does it matter? They're exactly in the same place right now. So, paste. Whoa. Oh, it didn't give me that decimal. Or the zeros, did it? Huh. Okay. It's just 1 0. How annoying. Alright. So, 0.0. 0.0. And then we're going to give it this. Huh? I'll just put this here. Huh? Yes. And then bring it out so we can see it. Actually, I'll copy that other one's. What's the blue one? Z 1.5. Whoa. 1.75. 1.75. 1.75. They're all the same. How is that possible? It's not there. No! I didn't want to do that. Wrong one. This one. Oh, it's... Okay, no, it's there. It's just messed up somehow. What is going on with it? Okay. Okay. Is that better? Yay. All right. Yes. There you go. Look at that. It's a monster. Uh, okay. Let's see. All right. This is what I'm gonna put on it. See if it's scary. Open my downloads. Dragging in a picture. And then gonna drop it on enemy. See how that looks. Is it creepy? Yeah. Not really. Let's see. None of those are really creepy. I think it's almost impossible to really. I think something like this, it's almost creepier if it's more normal looking. Okay, I think I do like it the same as the watermelons. Like they have grown. Now it just needs some teeth or a smile or something. Let's see. What can I use for that? What's this? I don't even know what that is. Well, I'm going to delete that now. Okay. Oh, I'm going to hit save real quick. Okay. And create. Huh. What will give me the smile? Or teeth or something. Are they like cones or triangles? Oh, I did make the tree thingy. That's kind of freaky. This thing? That was weird looking. Really weird looking. And the way that has dots after it kind of makes me not want to click it. That I did it. I don't even know. That would be like a scary looking tooth, right? Just need to shrink it a bit. Then get it over here. Shrink a little more. Move it over a little more. Wait. Let's go this way. There we go. We got to it. Now rotate. Well, actually, oh no, I'm gonna leave these. I'm not gonna rotate that one yet. Okay. Teeth color. White. Gonna need white. There. That's what it is. It's not really white, but I'll deal with it. Okay. So I have one right about here, right? And then have another one right about, hey, why is there not another one? Huh? There's still just one. Whoa. Why don't I see them? Oh wait, are they buried in there? Oh, that's why I don't see them. I'm a dodo. Okay, oops. Okay, let's see what's going on here. It's floating way out there. Why do I not see them? Okay, I'm not using these trees. I don't know what those things are. Delete, delete. We'll just stick to this top list. Not gonna use plain cylinder. Make some little teeth. Eh. Just do this real quick. I'm thinking about it. Tiny. I think that's a good size. And it's gonna be black. Okay. And now move over here. Rotate. And move some angry eyebrows. Oops. I didn't mean to do that. Oh goodness. Okay, so make him a little skinnier. Like that. How's that? That's a nice angry eyebrow. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'm just going to duplicate it and rotate it. Like that. Seems good. And then move it. Why is it being difficult? Okay. There we go. There. Oh, it's definitely looking better. That's much, much better. It was not looking good. That is perfect. It's like I thought someone was knocking at the door for a minute, but no. All right. I'm just gonna copy one of these real quick and see this. Oh wait, I just tried to do Control V. I hope that didn't do anything. No, Control D. All right, come down here and over here. Let's rotate. He's got a little mouth and he's not happy. He's not happy. He's an angry watermelon. I'm so happy with myself right now. Okay. These need to get more set in. Try to see. That's better. So, what was this one? Yeah, let's do it manually. There. It I feel like I just made a veggie tail. I made an angry watermelon. All right. Now I give him a little tooth. Yeah, he needs a little tooth. That'd be cute. Oh, I'm about to do Control V again. Okay. So white. Yeah, make it white. And I'll rotate it first. Whoa. Okay. I thought they were moving together for a second. It's kind of weird. And then gonna change the size. It's kind of turning, it's not really keeping its pill shape. Okay. So we'll have the tooth be like this shape, right? There we go. And then I'll change the size here, right? Yes, maybe. You can do it. It's like, I just need a tiny, tiny tooth. There we go. Okay. Oh my goodness, it's so cute now. Oh, he is a winner. Did I give it a little hat? Uh, I'm very happy with myself right now. I'm going to save this. I'm going to attach all these things to this little guy. There. Now he won't fall apart. Isn't that so cool? It is so cool. I made that. Just playing around. Okay. So, getting ready to wrap up. I want to leave this at a good place. And come back. I'll make the enemy. Next time I will make it so they they will replace the watermelons based on something. I have not made up my mind yet if I want that to be a certain score or a timer. I was thinking of like you start the game and something's counting down and you don't know what it's counting down to. It's counting down to all the watermelons switching out. You'll know that after the first time, but yeah. And then you have the decision of like, do you let them pile up so you have lots of enemies, or are you trying to make it so you don't have any enemies and just keep lasting for as many rounds as possible? So, yeah, I'm very pleased with myself. It's not too hard to make things like this. And it's kind of got its own little cute aesthetic. I gotta give him some feet. His little feet sticking out so he's not just a pill body. Start messing with the edges. Yeah, very, very happy. All right. I can't start anymore. I need to stop. That's that. File, save. I'll do the script for this guy. I'll probably get on this later tonight. I was doing this last night, working on this game or project. It's just a project. I've had so pleased with myself right now. All right. That's that. You guys have a good one.